What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2022 Chevy Bolt EUV Premier trim. So if you're familiar with the channel at all, you'll know we've taken a look at the 2022 Chevy Bolt EV 2LT, which replaced the Premier trim, and we took a look at the 2022 Bolt EUV LT trim, which is the new base model trim. And now we have a Premier to look at. Now this isn't gonna have every single feature. It's still missing Super Cruise, which you can only add on as an option, and it's only standard on the launch edition of the EUV, but it's got almost every other feature that is available on the Premier, and we're gonna take a look at all the differences here between the LT in this video. Now, I have a lot of experience with the Bolt EUV. I actually bought one for myself, and I've done a lot of really cool modifications to it already to make it look really, really sick. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely check the link above or in the description for my video talking about all the things that I've done to make my 2022 Chevy Bolt EUV look more like a Chevy Blazer RS, which was my goal all along. So definitely check out that video. Now, as far as design changes, there are really no noticeable differences between the LT and the Premier outside of the panoramic sunroof up top. Everything else is pretty standard. Now, under the hood, the Bolt EUV is powered by the same permanent magnet motor, outputs 200 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque. It is powered by a 65 kilowatt hour battery. And as far as charging goes, the onboard charging module has increased to 11.5 kilowatt hour versus last year, which was around 7.2 kilowatt hours. The DC fast charging has remained the same at 55 kilowatt hour. And I know a lot of people have negative comments about that, and I'm not saying that it can't increase and probably should increase to keep it competitive, but 55 kilowatt hours on a 65 kilowatt hour battery is not that bad. But definitely having that onboard charging raised up to 11.5 kilowatt hours is an awesome welcomed change. Also, all Bolt EUVs come standard with the dual level charging cable, and this will allow you to use your standard 120 volt outlet, but you can also swap out the butt end of it and plug it into a 240 volt outlet and get, much faster charging times that way. Also, GM is running a promotion where they will come to your house and install a 240 volt outlet in your garage for you. The promotion was supposed to end at the end of June, but I'm pretty sure they've extended it out, so definitely check with your dealership. If you're interested in that entire process, I made a whole video on getting my level 2 charger set up. I'll have that linked in the description as well if you're interested in that, how that process works. But as far as other design changes, nothing really stands out. On the exterior, you still have the blacked out Chevy bow tie, which replaces the gold bow ties from last year, which I really like. You have this split headlight design where your DRLs are up top. They also have a sequential integrated turn signal right here. And then your LED headlights and high beams are in this bottom portion with this little kind of chrome accent here. Then you have a body colored piece that splits it here. And then you have my least favorite part of the whole Bolt, which is this kind of faux textured grille piece. It's just plastic and it really adds nothing to it. You do have a little bit of active cooling at the bottom to keep that battery cool. One noticeable difference here on the exterior of the Premier is this front-facing camera. That works with your HD surround vision camera system here on the Premier. So you'll see two more on the side mirrors, each one, and then your standard rear camera that all work together to create that HD surround vision system. And we'll take a look at that inside the cabin. Now, the color we're looking at here is Silver Flare Metallic. It's not the most interesting color that you can get on the Bolt EUV, but I think with the black accents, there's some nice contrast there. You have some black plastic cladding wrapping around the wheel wells. The Premier here is sitting on 17-inch two-tone aluminum alloy wheels with the machined pockets. I think they look really, really sleek. I'm a huge fan of the two-tone wheels. I'm not a big fan of the regular wheels, and that's why I had to change that on mine. But these two tones, if mine would have had them, I probably would have kept them the same. I really like the look of them. Moving on back, you have these cool two-tone side mirrors. So they have a body colored piece, so Silver Flare Metallic here, and then a black piece with the integrated turn signals. Now, these are manual folding mirrors. They are heated and they have blind spot monitoring though. And of course, those cameras up underneath that I talked about with the surround vision camera system. Moving on back, you have a little chrome insert on your door handles with keyless access. Up top, silver painted roof rails, and then you have that panoramic sunroof that is exclusive to the Premier. You can't even get that on the 2LT Bolt EV. It is only on the Premier Bolt EUV, and that comes with that sun and sound package. It's about a $3,000 package that includes the panoramic sunroof, the infotainment center with navigation, the Bose premium audio system. So some nice features there, but again, that is an add-on package. That's not default on the Premier, but most of them that you find will have that. You have black trim that runs around the windows here, which looks great. So moving to the back of of the Bolt EUV. There's a couple little quirks here, but I really think it's a nicely designed back end. You have this little spoiler with your light up top that keeps stuff off your back windshield, but you have a wiper in case you need it. It's a black piece that splits here, then you got a body colored piece down below. These LED taillights here are actually a running light. They don't actually serve any brake or turn signal functionality. It's just straight up a light that is there for aesthetic purposes, and it looks really good in my opinion, but it is a little bit weird in that case. The actual turn signals and brake lights are down below here, integrated into the bottom bumper. Also, your reverse light is at the very bottom, which is, you know, it's just an interesting design choice. You got an HD rear vision camera here that works with that surround vision camera system. Parking sensors down at the bottom. One other little noticeable difference, you almost miss it if you're not looking for it, but it's right up under here, and it's this little camera module. And that camera module works with the rear view mirror camera that we find here on the Premier trim. It also has a little sprayer so you can easily clean that off if it gets dirty, but again, it's pretty well protected by this little lip here. Now, no power liftgate option, just a manual liftgate even up here on the Premier, but you do have a decent amount of storage space back here, about 16 cubic feet of space with the rear seats up. If you fold those rear seats down, you'll get right around 57 cubic feet of cargo space, which is not bad at all. You also have this flat floor here, but you can lift it up, and you've got a little storage up underneath if you need a little bit of extra space or you want to store your charger down there, which of course your dual level charger is found right here. And it's this, like I said, this little white block that has interchangeable bits that you can switch out here and use 240 or 110, whatever you need to use. Little cargo shade here as well. But that's pretty much everything here on the exterior. Let's go ahead and hop inside the cabin. All right, so hopping inside this beautiful cabin, there's a couple things that stand out to me, especially coming from somebody that has an LT and is my daily driver. There's a few little noticeable features. Mainly, it's the textured material around the cabin and on the seats, but also there's a couple extra buttons that I don't have, and that rear view mirror camera definitely stands out. But let's just jump right into it. I mean, this steering wheel, it's again a nice leather wrap steering wheel. You have your adaptive cruise control on the left side, which you do not have on the LT. Then you have your media controls and your digital display controls right here. Now, this display is really nice. It gives you all the information you would need to see. You can see how much battery life, average speed, you know, what speed you're actually going. You can even put navigation on there since this does have the built-in Chevy navigation system. So you can put your turn-by-turn directions on there and all kinds of good stuff like that. You also adjust all of your safety systems on here so your adaptive cruise control and stuff can be controlled right here on this screen. It's really nice, really useful, and I like using it a lot in my daily driving. Now, one other little note on the steering wheel here, you do have controls for your audio, so you can change your, which favorites you're listening to. You can also change your volume up and down by using the buttons on the right side of the steering wheel, but then you have your little regen on-demand paddle right behind the steering wheel. You can use this not in one pedal driving mode, but in conjunction with the one pedal driving mode. It is a blast to drive this car. That is how I drive by default, one pedal driving, and I use regen and just letting off the acceleration to drive the whole time. I almost never use my brake, and I have almost never used it since I got the car. So once you get used to it, it's a really, really fun way to drive, and that's one of my favorite parts of owning an EV, especially the Bolt here. Light and wiper controls back there as well. Now, over on the left-hand side, you have your light controls, so you can turn those auto lights on. You also have auto high beams on the light stalk here, and then you can adjust the brightness of your infotainment displays. It's a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel here. This steering wheel is also heated, which I don't have on the LT, but you do have the same 10.2-inch infotainment system. The only real difference here is that HD surround vision camera menu, as well as the navigation that you get with that Sun and Sound package. So this has audio, phone, Bluetooth, like I said, navigation, different users that you can set up, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, HD surround vision, and then you have your energy menu, which again, those are specific to the Bolts, obviously. And that shows you all kinds of awesome information. How much battery you have when you're actually driving, it'll show. When you're actually driving, it'll be using energy. And then when you start to regen, it'll go in reverse and show that you're gaining energy. Also, this is the menu you can access to set your charging limit. So if you're charging, it'll tell you what your different options are on level 1, level 2, how long it'll take to complete the charge, and then you can adjust how much of your actual battery you want to charge. So I turn mine down obviously to around like 80% and charge to that every day. So really nice features here inside of the energy menu. You also have your climate control built into this, OnStar, My Chevrolet, Wi-Fi hotspot, all those kind of goodies. Let's go into the camera menu here, and you can see you get all kinds of different camera views, both front and back with various angles. It's always a nice touch to have, even if you don't use it all the time, just having it and the peace of mind to see exactly where you're parking, can't beat it really. But moving on down from that, you do have your climate control system. Now this is an automatic climate control system, not dual zone, tri-zone, anything like that, just a standard automatic climate control. But you have a lot of nice functionality. Like I said, you can use it on the screen if you want to, but you also have manual controls right here. You also have heated seats for driver and passenger, ventilated seats for driver and passenger, and heated seats for your rear passengers, which is fantastic. And they just work with this little switch here. So if you want it hot, just go up and you can click down through to turn it off. And then if you want ventilated, you just click down through the cooled options. My LT doesn't even have heated seats. I think you can add that as an option, but having heated and ventilated seats on this, absolutely awesome. Like I said, also that heated steering wheel control is right there. Moving on down from that, you do have a Qi-enabled wireless charging pad. You have one USB-C port, one USB-A port, and you have a 12-volt outlet down there, as well as an SD card slot. Now, my LT has an SD card slot. Typically, that's used for updating navigation or storing navigation preferences, but you know, here, I don't know what else you would use it for because mine has it and doesn't have navigation, but it's there nonetheless. Qi-enabled wireless charging pad. You have your sport mode button, your traction control button, and your lane keeping assist button right there. Moving on back from that, you have this piano black plastic kind of center gear shift here. There is actually no gear shift. It's all shift by wire using this little pad. You have a tiny pocket and an electronic parking brake, but this shift by wire system is really great. Takes no time at all to get used to. I'm already very used to it, and it shifts very quickly. You have park as a button, reverse as a toggle, neutral as a button, and drive as a toggle, and then your one pedal driving button is right behind that. So really easy system to use. Moving on back from that, you do have two standard cup holders with a nice little accent around them. Inside this little armrest, really nothing at all. There's no additional ports, no additional little pockets or anything. You do have the little spot where you can pair the keys for teen driver mode or setting up your different driver profiles. My only complaint really about this little armrest thing is it's very, very small. And really, if you've got another passenger here, you guys are going to be fighting over who gets more arm on this armrest. But if we go ahead and move back up, you do have this rear view mirror. Like I talked about, it's a much more premium looking rear view mirror than you get on the LT. And it does have the rear view mirror camera toggle here. So if you flip that, you do get access to that camera we showed in the back. And you have your controls for adjusting brightness, height, zoom, all that kind of stuff right on the right side here. Moving on back from that, you have your dome lights, your OnStar buttons, and then you have your sunroof controls right here. So you can go ahead and put the shade back and open the roof right up. Now it's a panoramic roof, meaning the glass goes all the way back, but you can only open the front half of it. So just keep that in mind. Even just having the shade back and the glass open, it makes the cabin feel a lot more airy, even than it already is, because it's a pretty open and airy cabin. You also have the Bose premium audio system here. That's part of that sun and sound package that I discussed outside. So that's a nice touch over the base system that you get on the LT. As far as seating surfaces go, you have this really unique color combination. I don't know how well it works together because they're so close in shade, but it is definitely unique. So you have a jet black interior with a nightfall blue look to it as well. So the texture on the door panels, like the leather material and the black, is right next to each other, and you almost can't tell the difference. You really have to see it in light to be able to tell that the blue is just a little bit brighter. It's almost like black and navy blue, which has always kind of been a thing you don't want to pair together. So I'm a little bit, I don't know if it's my favorite, but you know, it's definitely unique, like I said. So these seats have this nightfall blue look to them, and they have this perforated pattern on it with this light blue accent stitching. Now these leather seats are a lot more comfortable than the cloth seats that I have in my LT. I can say that much for sure. I know a lot of people have concerns about the comfort of the Bolt seats, and again, these are much more comfortable than the cloth seats. So if you're worried about that, definitely go for the leather. Now again, these are heated and ventilated. The driver is an 8-way power adjustable with 2-way lumbar support. Passenger is a 6-way manually adjustable seat. And again, you do have heated rear seats. You have that same nightfall blue in a couple other places in the cabin, like I mentioned, over on the door panels. And then you have it here above the glove box with the same perforated pattern that you have on the seats. But as far as other cabin design goes, you do have a lot of piano black plastic in here, which again, fingerprint and dust magnet, but I think it looks pretty nice. You have a little bit of a satin piece that runs around the vents and around some of the accents on the door panels, around the center console here. So it's a really subtle cabin. I've talked about this a lot in my other Bolt videos. They toned down a lot of the like overly EV elements to it and made it just feel more like a Chevy that's all electric, which I can appreciate. But again, no Super Cruise here. You normally have a little LED bar here, but you do not have that. And then you don't have that little camera either. But you do have a plethora of safety features, and you have adaptive cruise control, which my LT doesn't have, and I really wish it did. But you have lane keeping assist, you have forward collision braking, front pedestrian braking, you have the parking sensors, HD surround vision, you have IntelliBeam high beam assist, adaptive cruise control. You have all these awesome safety features that really make the Bolt very, very, very secure when you're driving. And also, it's just a blast to drive. If you haven't driven one, please do yourself a favor and go test drive a Bolt. I get a lot of comments on these videos and people say, this thing's boring, it's this, it's that. I'm like, go drive it. Because I guarantee you half the people commenting have never driven one of these. And if you've driven one, you know how fun it is to drive. That 277 pound-feet of torque is instantaneous. It is a blast to drive, and it's one of my favorite things about owning an EV. Outside of not having to pay for gas and all that, it's just fun to drive. I highly recommend that you do so. Speaking of that, we're not going to be test driving the Bolt in this video. I test drove the Bolt EV in my full review of that. If you're interested, definitely check the card above or the link in the description. And it drives exactly the same as that, so it's just kind of repetitive for me to repeat all that kind of stuff. But again, instantaneous torque as soon as you touch that acceleration pedal. One pedal driving is a blast. Using that region on demand is great. Now this model that I'm sitting in right here, stickers at about $41,000. And again, it is missing Super Cruise, so that would boost that up if I did add it to about $43,000 for a fully kitted Premier EUV. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about the Chevy Bolt EUV Premier trim? Are you gonna pick one up or do you already have one? Let's have a conversation down in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.